Thank you, Madam. Representative Fiorello of the 149th.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just a few questions through you to the proponent of the bill.
Go ahead, Madam.
On the school-based health centers, I understand there's only one or two that are operational, and this part of the bill is seeking the grant money to expand this program. And I wanted to ask, the current school-based health centers, is it correct to understand that this is about having physicians at the school, eye doctors at the school, and dentists at the school, in addition to the nurses and mental psychologists, school counselors, and the others that we spoke about in previous bills? But is that a correct understanding of school-based health centers? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Sanchez.
Through you, Madam Speaker. I know that there are more than two school-based health centers in the state of Connecticut.
Oh.
One in particular that I can comment on in New Britain does have this collaborative agreement with the Community Health Center, with Wheeler Clinic, where they provide, a nurse provides the health services to the children. They also have the mental health services that are provided through Wheeler Clinic or CMHA. So I would imagine that when they expand on these, that they would give the local Board of Eds that opportunity to have these memo of understandings and have these contracts with their either local clinics or their hospitals. That would be the right thing to do. And I hope I don't know if I answered your question, but through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Fiorello.
Okay. To be clear, these are health clinics that are on the campus of the schools, and I did see previous versions of the legislation that did include physician, dentist, and eye doctor. So I just want to make sure that that's kind of what the proper understanding is of the services provided. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Sanchez.
Through you, Madam Speaker. That is what we want to see. And we know that there are school districts that are already making, they have those memo of understandings with these different organizations and agencies in their cities or in their towns in order to provide those services. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Fiorello.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My comments on that is, the proponent said that this will help parents with the ease of caring for their children. And I just feel that many parents would agree there's not a lot of ease in caring for children. We don't have children, we don't seek to raise them and always find the easiest route. I mean, raising children, sometimes they raise us too, done properly is a rigorous life journey. And so I'm wary when we create government programs to ease the burden for parents, because children are not burdens. And I can appreciate that there may be parents who are asking for this, but I think this program should definitely go forward, if needed, with a lot of caution and huge amounts of communication with all parents across Connecticut. The proponent mentioned that there are about 124 schools that are on a recommended list. So I would urge a lot of caution there. I had a question about CIRC. When you look at the website for CIRC, and also in the bill itself, the responsibilities for CIRC are quite expansive. It's almost like we might have two departments of education. And I wanted to ask, given that there's so much that CIRC does, could the proponent explain, we are expanding CIRC's role here. I think the word that was used was expanding. What more are they supposed to be doing in this bill? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Sanchez.
Through you, Madam Speaker. So CIRC, the State Education Resource Center, have many, many resources that they can share with anyone throughout the state of Connecticut. And we know that in the past couple of years, they have been working on the curriculum, the Black and Puerto Rican and Latino Studies curriculum, which they developed together with the State Department of Education. It is hoped that with the Native American studies and other curriculums that are moving forward, that CERC will be involved in the development of that with SDE. But they can provide other services. They can go into towns and cities and provide professional development, and also provide some materials as well. It's a very important agency that does lots of work together with the State Board of Education and the State Department of Education. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Fiorello.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. How many employees does CERC have, and will the expansion that's listed here in this bill require how many more new employees? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Sanchez.
Through you, Madam Speaker, I'm not 100% sure how many, but when we were discussing the Black and Puerto Rican and Latino Studies bill, I believe there were about 5, but CERC also brings in other professionals and professors from universities to help in the development of these curriculums. But I'm guessing it's about 5. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Okay.
Representative Fiorello.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Okay, so just 5. And do they serve all of Connecticut, every 169 school district? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Sanchez.
Through you, Madam Speaker, I believe that moving forward, they will be able to do so. Right now, their concentration is in around the Hartford and New Haven areas, but they specifically have been working on in the development of these curriculums that we in our committee have put forward, and they're a tremendous help with developing the curriculum. So it's my hope that yes, they can expand further throughout the state of Connecticut. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Fiorello.
Thank you. One last question on CERC. It doesn't specify in the bill, but is there an expectation that CERC will be creating the mandated Asian Pacific Islander curriculum? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Sanchez.
Through you, Madam Speaker, if I was the State Department of Education, I would definitely involve them. I'm not too sure if they will be involved in the development of the Asian American and Pacific Islander curriculum, but it would be a great idea for them to do so. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Fiorello.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So I am a little leery about the expansion of CERC. If you look at their website and the things that they focus on in their work, right now they have a 2022 conference on dismantling systemic racism, a conference on race, education, and success. They have a programming called Journey to Naya, Power and Purpose in Black Caregiving of Young Children. One of the other things that happened with CERC, one of the first ways I actually got to really understand them was about a year ago when there were many parents across our state that were concerned about the curriculum in the schools, and this word, critical race theory, was all over the news. CERC, instead of sort of trying to understand where Connecticut parents were coming from, came out with a statement that kind of affirmed that they valued CRT and that CRT, that they saw it as a great tool, kind of affirming for parents that CRT surely must be in the school system. There's a lot of parts of this bill that I appreciate. Once again, I wish that bills like this would be smaller. I think the sections that allow professionals to become educators in our state is fantastic. And the reason why I think it's so fantastic is I firmly believe in school choice, and I want to see tons of schools flourishing. I think we have an incredible wealth of older people who are close to retirement who can become unbelievable educators. This is happening in other states, and it can also happen here. We know that we had tremendous learning loss during COVID, And we had 20%, according to the state data, but higher in other parts, of chronic absenteeism. And we sort of abandoned testing during COVID. But in 2022 now, we will have a return to testing. And finally, we are going to see the numerical, the reality of the learning loss for the children of Connecticut. And I feel that all of education reform should really be focused on the academic achievement and outcomes for our children. Our children need to feel that wonderful feeling of their brain working and learning new knowledge, their horizons opening up. Education is the key to success for all of us, no matter where you come from. Education is that key. And Connecticut has an incredible history with education. Some of the oldest schools in our country are in our state. And I am not so keen on our education, those of us who are on the committee and thinking about it, making laws for our state, pushing health-based centers with dentists and eye doctors in the schools. There's a place for that. And it's out there in the private sector. We don't need government coming in to take a section of the healthcare system further. And as for CERC, I'm sure it serves its purposes, but I would like to see CERC really, their work be analyzed. But again, in terms of school choice, the schools that want to adopt what CERC is doing is great, but it would be fantastic if parents who don't want the agenda that CERC provides had other choices in our state through a burgeoning of school choice in our state. And that is really the future I hope to see. I have one last question for the proponent. Through you, Madam Speaker, is there any part of this bill that includes the double counting language that has been in other education legislation? That is where we consider the children who are in particular choice schools to be double counted as children who are also attending the district school. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Sanchez.
Through you, Madam Speaker, not that I'm aware of.
Representative Fiorello.
Thank you. I'm delighted to hear that answer, and I support so many parts of this bill, but because of the parts I spoke of, I will not be supporting this bill as an omnibus. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Representative Curry.